Well, hey everybody. It's the 14th day of July 2025. I'm Jan Erickson, and this is As Above, So Below. I hope you had a good weekend. I sure did. My husband and I sure did. We got to see our grandchildren, so that was so much fun. They're so great. We just love them so much. And so it was very cool to get to see them and play with them and do stuff. I got to play Nintendo games on the Nintendo with both my grandsons, and one will be 6 here in a couple weeks, and the other one is 3.5. And I don't know how the 3.5-year-old does it, but he plays the video games and he knows what he's doing and he's teaching me. So it was really, really very cool. We just had the best time. And then my granddaughter, she turned 8 yesterday. And so we were down there to kind of do an early birthday for both our granddaughter and the oldest grandson. So, but we got to see them and it was so much fun. Anyway, let's get started. Let me see, I need to take that off there. Let's get started with Nathes today for the higher self side or the above side of things. Now, Nathes is the one of the Norn runes. You've got Hagalaz, Isa, and Nathes. Nathes is about the friction within to manifest, or the inner fire to meet your goals, that inner will, and the expression of that to move forward and to achieve what you want to achieve. Given that it's a Norn rune, I give it a little more weight than the other runes in the Elder Futhark, but that's just me. You don't have to do that. I just think since the Norns were the goddesses or witches or whoever they were that gave the runes to Odin as he hung upside down from the world tree, sacrificing an eye to gain wisdom and clarity and all of that, I just think that those 3 runes seem to resonate a little bit more for me than the rest of them do. But again, the idea of having the inner fire to meet your goals, to meet your objectives, to be able to manifest something, that comes from higher awareness. That's not something that should be ego-based. When it's really that inner fire, that's a soul level experience. So let's see though what the Geomancy runes have to say. There's fire, there's water. Where is air? There's air. I put these in the order of fire, air, water, and earth. And here we have Amisio. Now, Amisio and Acquisitio are each other's complements. Acquisitio would be gain. Amisio would be loss. But it can also be hesitance to engage. It can be really any number of things that just decrease, even a decrease of something, more energetic. Whereas Amisio would be gain, this would be loss or increase or decrease. So it could even be something where you've been ill, you've had a cold or whatever, and now you're seeing the decrease of it. It could indicate something like that. But generally speaking, when I see this, especially paired with Nathes, then if you are hesitant to engage, if you're feeling uncomfortable about something, you can use the energy of Nathes to move out of that, and to if you're hesitant to move forward on something, it's maybe you feel like you need a little more reliability. Well, it could simply be that you're lacking a commitment maybe to do it, and maybe there's a reason why. So resolve that and then invoke the will to move forward. So say it's a project at home or a project at work or something like that. It could be like that, where maybe you're feeling uncomfortable if it's with the people that you're working with, and that they're maybe not as committed, and so you don't want to be the one left holding the bag here and being responsible for making it all happen. And so you need partners that are maybe a little more reliable, or some assurances from them that, yeah, they really are in this, in the way that you are and are as committed as you are. It could be something like that. But it just shows that that, this could be something that's happening right now that you may just feel a little uncomfortable with, maybe a little uncomfortable with moving forward. So you do need to resolve it so that you then can invoke the inner will to manifest what you need to manifest and to meet the goals, meet the objectives, and move forward, right? So I've cut the deck, I've shuffled, I've cut the deck, and I'm taking 3 cards. And we have a run on wands today, again, which is going to be the fire element, which is going to be, and I see maybe now where I see the unreliability, could be. And I think that, and we also have one from the Major Arcana, the Hanged Man. But I think I see where possibly the unreliability and needing more security or reliability in something lies, and that's with the 5 of Wands. We also have the 6 of Wands, and then we have the Hanged Man. But let's go ahead first and do the numerology for the reading. So Nathes is going to be 10. That's the 10th rune. We have 12 for the Hanged Man. So now we're up to 22, which is a master number for the cosmic builder or profound soul level change. Then plus 5, which brings us to 27, reduces to 9, which is endings in completion. Plus 6 is 33. I'm going to do that one more time, which is Christ consciousness. So we have 10, and I'm not going to reduce it. It's a master number. 10 plus 12 plus 5 plus 6. Yep, 33. So let me just write that down here. I keep track on a Post-it of everything that I do here, so I like to just have it there. It's like, what was the numerology? But I'm not going to forget that one because 33 is consequential. 33 is considered to be Christ consciousness. And it's if you were to add it together, you have 6, which we also end with the 6 here, which is shared path. So it's the awareness that you have to come together in unity with other people, and be in a like-minded, have like-mindedness, which the 5 of Wands is a little bit iffy there, a little sketchy there. But that could be the source of a missio here today. It would be the 5 and what's going on there. Let's look at the Hanged Man. The Hanged Man is about surrender. It's about alignment in spirit. You see 3s, which are also part of the 33 here for the overall numerology. You have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And so you're looking at essentially surrendering to spirit. You see the emanations coming off of the man's head there. And that's trying to gain higher awareness. It's surrendering to spirit. It can also indicate some change and sacrifice. It's letting go of ego and invoking spirit into everything you do. And also in terms of invoking the will with Nathes as well. So, but that, and so I think that's going to also govern the reading, and what I may do is I may put that in the center and up above the other 2 cards when I take the picture of it and put it on the write up on the blog when I do the reading notes there, and then I also copy it over to Substack. So I think I may do it that way as sort of a higher energy of the cards, part of the card, the reading that has the cards in it. So anyhow, let's look at the 5. And here we have, I love this card. I used to teach karate. My husband and I used to teach karate in another life. And I love this because nobody's hitting anybody, but it's like they're all asserting their own ideas and their own creativity. But nobody really seems to be talking to one another or talking about each other's ideas together, examining them all. They're just it's just a bunch of self-assertion, really, and expressing their creativity. But nobody really seems to be connecting with one another, which obviously that's a good thing in this case. But in terms of trying to manifest something new, a new opportunity or whatever that you've decided to work on with other people, if you're not listening to one another, if you're not really engaging with one another, it just seems like there's just individual stuff going on here that's not really going to get you where you need to go. And that may be the reason for a missio here, and feeling like you're a little bit hesitant to move forward with them. You need a little more reliability. This sort of, I mean, everybody kind of seems committed for their own agenda, but there's no collaborative thing going on here. And we should just be happy they're not, beaning one another on the head with a staff. So that's a good thing. But beyond that, the idea of the six of wands here, maybe this got resolved, and in this picture here of victory, that which would be a blessing, wouldn't it? Let go of this stuff and actually make something happen, and make the commitment to listen to one another and work together. But here you have, again, with all sixes, you have a differential in terms of height. And maybe stature. Here you have the lord of the manor, maybe the king, but he's not dressed in really any battle attire. So I don't think he would be the king, although you could see him that way. But more like the lord of the manor. Maybe they've all come together in the region, the different lords, and they've come to a meeting, and this might have been what it looked like initially. But then here, they've gotten it all together, and he's back home, and you can see the victory here with the two wreaths, and his either the people that went with him, or it could be these people here. They're all in sync with one another, with maybe one idea or one opportunity winning out over the rest of them. And then at this point, see, you've got the five behind walking, and it could be, this. This is the initial example of it. And now you can see that in the end, somebody's going to be victorious, or somebody else came in, someone of authority came in and said, all right, let's all get on the same page and let's move forward. That would be one way to see this card. And so whether you're the one that ultimately is riding on the horse here and victorious at the ability to get everybody on the same page, and this just represents all the mayhem prior to that, you've done it by surrendering to the moment, surrendering to higher awareness, and understanding that there's a bigger picture here, that there's more at stake here than simply the chaos that's going here in the five. 5 represents change. It also represents innovation and variety. And so, sure, lots of variety going on here, right? But ultimately, you've got to surrender to the moment, surrender to higher awareness, and accept that there's going to be a change here, and let go of the hesitance to engage, and everybody because you don't need to anymore, because now everybody's on the same page. Something's happened and again, I think it's the surrender to higher awareness, where everybody begins to understand that, we can't go on like this any further. We have to make a decision. In other words, we have to decide, what are we going to do here, and how are we going to invoke the will in a collaborative, shared way to then be successful in our goals, whatever the goal or objective is. And so, again, though, I think that a missio is literally this. Because if you see this, how do you even think anything positive can happen out of that? Well, something has, and it's the surrender to higher awareness. And balance, that inner balance, that mind, body, spirit balance that you achieve, so that you're not having ego. It's got to be my way. Well, you got 5 people here that want it to be individual ways. That's not going to work. So something has to change, and I think what changes is the awareness and how you see things finally, that we all have to be on the same page so that we can all feel comfortable moving forward together, so there's no more hesitance, no more energy of a missio, and then here you are, successful, when you're all on that shared path. But I love that, here you've got this guy who's got more authority than the others, so maybe the boss comes in and says, hey, wait a minute, we're not getting anywhere. right? And again, has that ability to understand the bigger picture of things. And so if that's you, and these are people that you're having to deal with, and if they're causing you some insecurity and some worry, then you are the one that has to come in and say, look, this is not going to be workable. We are not going to achieve the goal if we can't even figure out how to get there together, And so here, through the surrender to spirit, you're able to do that and have everybody understand that we need to be going in the same direction and be on the same page instead of, no, it's my idea. No, it's my idea. No, we're going to do it this way. No, we're going to do it that way. It's that kind of chaos where nobody is listening. So no wonder you might feel insecure. So I kind of feel like whoever's listening to this video, if this resonates for you, that you're the one who has to surrender to the moment and to surrender to higher awareness. And then this would be you. And getting everybody on the same page so you can move forward and be successful together. So in all likelihood, you're not the one doing any of this. You're the one looking on and going, oh, good Lord. And so you're not going to get anywhere this way. So I think that that's it. And I think that you have to invoke the inner will within to see things from a higher perspective and get everybody else to do the same. And make everybody understand, if we can't resolve this, we can never get here. Okay? So I think that's it. Not bad for a Monday. It's getting really hot. I went out this morning early and I picked some red clover blossoms out of the field and it was getting really hot then. So, and I think it's supposed to be probably around 90 here today. When we got home from the valley on Saturday, it was because we went down on Friday. It was 97 here on the high desert and 97 or 98, and some more fires had broken out. And fortunately, we're not really near them, but evacuations happened. And as far as I knew last night, no structures were lost. So we're dealing with that. And it's weird because a lot of these fires, they're all getting closer into subdivisions and into towns. So it's you have to be alert now in a way that we've never had to be before. And we've lived here for 44 years. And so we've seen a lot of things, happen in the area, but this year's just different. It's so hot and they're so dry, and we're still in a drought, and eventually, it has an effect, on your safety and security and on your homes and properties and all of that. And people just don't listen, about don't burn anything, burning closed on the 1st of June. And what did people do? They continued to do and they started brush fires and people were, we actually had borate dropped, where we could see it happening. And that's never been, in the entire time I've lived here, I've never seen borate be dropped close to town. But they had no choice. The winds were like 25, 30 miles an hour and gusts higher than that. And everything was so dry. And man, that fire just moved. But they saved every home. And so, and another fire that was over on the other side closer to us, they saved all the homes. So, we have really experienced firefighters here, the wildlife or wildfire type of, woodland fires and all of that. We've got the hot shots here and people from other areas came to help, and they're so good at what they do. And so it was, but it was really scary there for a bit, and it never got close to our home, but it was close enough, and so thank the goddess, praise goddess for those people, because they it's above and beyond the call, and they do it so well, and so we're very, very appreciative of them. They are really some. I've talked to a lot of them. They're really interesting people. So I said, how can you go do that? Well, it's got to be done. So And so they just have a different mindset, and thank heavens they do. So anyway, have a good day. And if this resonates for you, that's great. Hopefully you can glean something from the reading. And if not, hang on to what we say here, and it may apply to something in the future for you. So, and check out the blog over at Stepping Aside. I'd love you to do that. The web address there is imsteppingaside.com. If you forget, click on more below the video. It says more. Click there, a box will open, and it's right up there at the top, so you can, if you forget the address. But check that out. The forecast is out for the week. The correspondences for Work and Magic are up. And come back again on Thursday for another edition of As Above, So Below. Be good to yourself, be good to one another, and blessed be.